Can a mouse become a human's friend? The old man picked up a sharp fork and stabbed it toward the box. He was only trying to poke a few holes in the box before nightfall because the mouse had stolen the bread from his home. The old man made a trap out of a cardboard box. The mouse was indeed tempted by the bread inside the trap and was successfully captured by the box. The old man carefully picked up the newspaper from the table and sealed the hole in the ground to prevent the mouse from escaping. Just as the old man was about to throw the box away, he unexpectedly brought the box back with him and broke the bread into small pieces, putting them inside the box. Unexpectedly, the breadcrumbs were tossed out by the mouse. Curious, the old man opened the box. The mouse stood like a defiant little child, with its arms crossed over its chest. It seemed to be expressing that the old man couldn't win it over. But when the old man took the bread away, the little mouse hesitated. It watched as the old man pretended to eat the bread, but he was only playing a game with it. The old man magically made the bread reappear and gave it back to the mouse. That night, while the old man was asleep, the mouse quietly climbed onto him, carefully nibbling on the breadcrumbs on his clothes. When the mouse sneaked away with a piece of bread, the old man opened his eyes in satisfaction. He hadn't been asleep at all. Do you know how powerful love can be? A couple living inside a clock will give you the answer. This couple lives inside a clock. They can only see each other once a day. Each time the big bird flies out of the clock and calls 3 times, they are pulled away by the pulleys on their feet. The man, not wanting to be separated from his wife, used the materials inside the clock to make an iron chain. After the 3 bird calls ended, he threw the chain to his wife, hoping to pull her to his side, but the chain broke, and they were still taken back by the pulleys. Back in his clock room, the man accidentally discovered that the key to unlocking the shackles was his wife's heart. He quickly wrote down his discovery on a piece of paper and folded it into a paper airplane to send to his wife. After receiving the note, the wife decisively removed her heart from her body. Even though it meant she would lose her life, her heart rolled along the gears and landed perfectly at the man's feet. The man picked up the heart and quickly unlocked the shackles on his feet. When it was time for them to meet that day, the man didn't appear. Then suddenly, he flew out of the big bird's room. Before his wife was pulled back, he placed the heart back into her body. Afterward, the man helped his wife break free from her shackles. Together they rode the big bird that the man had freed, flying toward a distant happiness together. I can't believe teeth can hold so much stuff. Jack woke up and stretched lazily. Then he grabbed a toilet brush to brush his teeth. Today Jack was planning to go on a date with Mama Shark. He had to have a set of pearly white teeth. He intended to finish brushing in 2 minutes, but while rinsing, he spat out yesterday's leftovers. Jack opened his big mouth to check. There were so many food bits stuck in his teeth, and he even had several cavities. So Jack grabbed a file and filed down the cavities. Then he took an electric drill and brushed his teeth again. Next, he used a 10-centimeter thick string to clean every single gap between his teeth. He couldn't believe how much stuff was stuck in there. If Mama Shark saw this, she'd definitely reject him for having bad breath. Luckily, after all the cleaning, Jack's teeth finally turned white. But in the next second, his shiny white teeth crumbled. Jack instantly aged 100 years. However, Jack just raised his tattooed arm, flexed his muscles with all his might, and grew a new set of teeth. Jack felt very satisfied. Then he left home. How hard is it to take a family photo? Frog Dad wanted to take a family photo. The other frogs smiled, but Sally, hiding in the corner, didn't cooperate. Frog Dad used his tongue to pull the magazine away and pushed Sally to the front of the sofa. Sally hopped onto the sofa. The other frogs moved aside and stopped smiling. Dad signaled them to smile again. They managed to take one photo, but Sally didn't smile. Frog Dad tied his tongue into a dog shape. He took several photos, but Sally still didn't smile. So Frog Dad started making funny faces to entertain them, but Sally kept her serious expression. Frog Dad brought out toys and performed with them. The other frogs laughed, but Sally remained bored. She even left the sofa. Frog Dad grabbed her with his tongue. Getting frustrated, Frog Dad angrily pulled the toy's head off and dropped it. The other frogs started crying, but Sally finally laughed. Seeing this, Frog Dad quickly grabbed the camera and captured the photo before Sally stopped smiling. Later, he used tape to stick everything together and finally got a smiling family photo. Have you ever seen a fridge with such powerful cooling effects? Even when you spray flames at it, they instantly turn into ice. Today was unbearably hot. Sam grabbed a cup and headed to the fridge to get some ice. Jimmy rushed over to stop him because there was a sign on the fridge prohibiting them. Sam didn't care about that. He shoved Jimmy aside and removed the warning sign from the fridge. Then he used his tiny 2-centimeter legs to jump onto the door handle, finally opening the fridge. The cold air instantly froze the cup full of ice. Sam couldn't wait to take a sip, but his tongue got stuck to the ice. In less than 2 seconds his legs were frozen too. Jimmy hurried to get a hairdryer to thaw him, but even the air from the dryer turned to ice. Sam didn't want to stay frozen. Jimmy brought a basin of hot water to pour on him. That only made things worse. Sam froze completely solid. Jimmy had to get a flamethrower. This should melt him right. Incredible, even the flames froze into ice. Jimmy panicked even more. He grabbed a broom to close the fridge, but accidentally pressed the extra cold button. A blast of freezing air blew out of the fridge, pinning Jimmy against the wall. At that moment Jimmy saw the circuit breaker, but his 2-centimeter short arms couldn't reach it. In a crucial moment Jimmy used an icicle on his head to turn off the breaker. Now they finally understood why they were banned from the fridge.